Get out of that car. He carries a gun. You're screwed.
It's my wife's car.
I got the cops coming, man. You better get out of here.
It's my wife's car.
No,
Who's
it ain't.
got a gun?
I know. It's what?
He's got a gun. He's going to shoot your ass.
Welcome to First Person Defender, where regular people come face to face with unknown attackers.
Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop the gun! Come out to me! Drop the gun!
And fight their way out. This is First Person Defender.
Maybe your friends and family know that you carry, but do they know you don't want to get involved in scenarios that you don't have to? And are they going to pull you into it? All that right now on First Person Defender.
These force-on-force scenarios use training guns that fire non-lethal projectiles.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Dania Beach, Florida. Basically, I don't remember ever learning how to shoot. My dad tells me I was shooting before I could walk. I was sitting in his lap shooting lily pads with a little H&R 22 revolver. Ran around in the woods with BB guns and shotguns and 22s my whole life. And haven't had a lot of formal training, but just started that. I did a class with Brian Hill on red dots, and I took Chris Cerino's Daniel Defense Carbine class, and that was a lot of fun. I have a concealed carry permit, and I carry everywhere all the time. I'm really excited. I can't wait to be tested to see if I react how I hope I will. I think I'm gonna end up eating humble pie.
Mike's a good guy. He's actually been here, had a class with me. I enjoyed having him around. He takes training very seriously. He's got a martial arts background, which proves that he's concerned about self-defense and taking care of himself. And he said he carries a gun all the time. For this scenario, we've got a special trainer from HK. We've got Adam Winch here. I'm gonna bring him in. He's gonna tell us about the scenario. So Adam, you got to hear Mike talk about himself. How do you think he's gonna do? This is a tough scenario.
Well, he talked about being a martial artist since almost child, being a young guy, and he carries every day, so I presume he's a good thinker, and so I have high hopes for him in this.
Well, what kind of scenario do we have for him?
So this is an interesting one. We're gonna have a restaurant here where he's in, and he's gonna be with a buddy, and they're gonna see somebody rifling through cars, ultimately going to his car, and he's got to decide whether he's gonna confront him or not, and how he's gonna handle somebody trying to get into his car.
There's so many ways this can go.
There's so many options people could come up with here, and it's going to be interesting how creative he is with this while also staying safe in this if he can.
Staying safe.
What are you willing to do for your property? Mike and a friend are dining in a local restaurant when trouble lurks through the parking lot, picking through cars. Does Mike engage, or will he stroll out the door to protect his property?
It was the craziest thing. There's some guy like rifling through cars out there.
What's he doing?
Oh yeah, he's rifling through cars. I'm like,
Guy going through cars?
yeah, but I ran him off. But like, I don't know what's going on.
He's gone?
I think so. I don't know. I just came in here because I was just.
Cars out there.
But, yeah, but you lock yours. I'm sure you lock yours.
Yeah.
You hear that, man? Somebody's going through cars. Hey, I might call the police, man. Yeah, 911. I'm at Landlubber's restaurant. There's some guy going through cars out here, man. I've seen him in 2 cars so far. I don't know what he's doing. Looks like he's robbing them. Got on a green shirt. Pretty tall guy.
You locked your car, right?
Yeah, my car's locked.
Dude, you did not lock your car. Look, he's in there stealing all your stuff.
I called the police already.
You know how long it's gonna take them to get here?
I ain't going out there.
He's taking all your stuff, man.
Hey, I can replace that stuff, man.
Oh, come on. Oh, if you're not gonna, I'm gonna stop.
Hey, man, I already called the cops. You shouldn't go out there, buddy. I wouldn't go out there.
Get out of that car. Get out of that car. My buddy's gonna come out here and shoot your ass. Get out of that car.
Hey, we already called the cops, buddy. You better get out of here.
Buddy, just come out here and tell me.
Get out of that car. He carries a gun. You're screwed.
It's my wife's car.
I got the cops coming, man. You better get out of here.
It's my wife's car.
No, it ain't.
He's got a gun. He's gonna shoot your ass. Oh!
Oh! Hey, somebody call the police. Somebody call the police. Tell them I got a green shirt on and I got a gun and a guy down here. 2 guys are down.
Index, index, index.
All right, so tell me what happened.
Oh, we were in there having a little bit of lunch, having chicken wings, and I was talking to Bill, and I heard this guy come in and started telling his buddies that he saw somebody rummaging through the cars out there. So I started listening, find out what's going on, kind of looked around. Then I heard the guy was out there, so I kind of peeked around the corner and got a look at it and saw you there. And then he came and went to another car. I decided I better call the cops. You know, guys rummaging through cars and stuff. I'm no superhero. I'm not gonna go out there and put my life on the line for it. He actually went in my car, which I thought I locked up. But then again, the cops were already on the way and I ain't got nothing worth dying for, so I didn't go out there. Then the other guy decided to go out there and intervene. I tried to tell him not to. He still did. I tried to keep a little cover in the door, keep myself away from the guy, kind of turned away so he couldn't see my hand on my gun. Thought I blocked it from him. And I didn't pull the gun until I saw a gun, and at that point the guy got shot, and then I shot him.
So I was the bad guy. So I didn't get to see everything you did, but I can tell you this, there wasn't a lot I could do against you. Let's bring in Adam Winch and see what he saw from his angle.
Sounds great.
I gotta tell you, from my perspective, you did a lot of things right. You stayed inside, you got on the phone. Like you said, there's nothing in this vehicle for you to give up your life over. It's just stuff, right? So who cares? You did that well when your buddy just left you and went outside, which tells me you probably should find better friends, right? People that are dumb enough to run out there like that are people you should not hang around with. But from once you did, you stayed behind the cover of the door, and I was directly behind you. I watched you. You got on the gun. You had almost a full firing grip on the gun. Trigger finger discipline was great. Then when suddenly Mr. Dirtbag went to guns and shot your buddy, you came out fast, you put it on target, you used the door for cover for the first couple. The one thing I would say is when you did move out, you moved out only a several feet or maybe 2 or 3 yards, and you engaged him head on.
I caught myself getting a little close to it, so I tried to back off cover to still see around, but I came out too far.
What you find is people want to come close, and there's no reason to, right? A handgun is it's a long distance device, right? Might as well stay long distance from them and stay behind cover and then contact police. You did a good job telling people to call 911, directing them what he looked like, where you're at, so you did really well there.
Well, I'll tell you what, other than doing some barricade work and some footwork about using cover and moving with cover, I'd say Mike did a great job on this scenario.
And it's obvious you've spent time in the skills of building the skill. You made impacts. I tell you, it's 100% hit or at least 75% hit. I mean, that's fantastic in a fight.
I say you work on some footwork with them and give them to shoot a little bit.
A little bit of barricade work and we're good to go.
The HK VP9 SK, HK quality, but in a smaller, more concealable package. It still has the VP9 characteristics, great grip, great trigger, interchangeable back straps, and a gun that is super durable, including that cold hammer-forged barrel. But most importantly, it's a gun you're gonna enjoy on the range or carrying all the time with you, the HK VP9 SK.
So Mike, you did really well using this door for cover. Let me show you how well you did. So you stayed here at the door, you came out and you began to fire from here using this as some type of cover. This is somewhat bullet resistant, so it's helpful to have. So then you moved out of the door. From there, once you'd fired your rounds and Mr. Bad Guy fell out of sight, you moved to where you could see him, which is a good idea. We don't want to stand here. So let's go with me. Let's show you where you went. So then you panned out wide. At this point, you started circling out and then moving in. I would tell you this area of the car is helpful for you, right? Staying behind cover. Not only that, you want distance whenever you can get it. You have a handgun, it goes at distance. So why not stay at distance, move out to where you can see Mr. Bad Guy, and you want to see his hands, his waist area, and his upper torso, right? We don't really care about his feet so much because they can't shoot guns. So as long as I can see that from behind the car, I can now hold him at this point or make extra shots if I had to, while still staying behind this car. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does a lot. I think
So-
I came out too far there.
Yes, not only that, you went out further and then you started going into him. That natural instinct of trying to go to him, and there's no reason to do it. We're not law enforcement, we're not putting him in handcuffs, we don't have to secure the gun. We simply use the gun to stop him. Once he stopped, why not stay behind cover instead of going out from behind it and going close? Stay back here, and then from there start alerting law enforcement, having somebody else call 911, or even you doing that if you need to. So I'd recommend to you from that point, once you know 911's on the way and that person is no longer a threat, bringing that gun into more a relaxed and comfortable position, because holding out here gets heavy after a while. Right. The response time could be 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes. So maybe I hold into here where it's more comfortable, and even because what if there are other concealed carry holders coming, maybe even concealing that gun, so Mr. or Mrs. concealed carry holder who shows up, sees you holding a gun, might assume you're the bad guy and just shoot you off to the side, right? So maybe reconcealing that until law enforcement is truly arriving on scene, at which point I would carefully holster that gun and reconceal it and prepare for law enforcement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's something I didn't think about, was actually concealing it, because I knew I didn't want to put it away.
No.
But my plan was, if I saw law enforcement, put it away and hands up.
Yes, yeah, that's a good thing. But the biggest thing is I don't want you to get shot after the fact by some good Samaritan. Right. So maybe reconcealing would be a good idea.
There's a reason why shooters like the HK VP9 so much. Modern striker-fired polymer pistol holds 17 rounds of 9mm. It's optics ready, but the grip and the trigger is something you notice when you pick up this gun. A nice grip, a nice trigger is going to help you be a better shooter. And of course, HK quality. On the range or concealed, it's a good option for you, the HK VP9. If you want to survive a real-world experience like you see on First Person Defender, you need training. And we provide classes and training at Range Ready Studios. We have pistol classes, rifle classes, advanced concealed carry, and even First Person Defender experiences where you get to run through many scenarios like you see on this show. Go to rangereadystudios.com to sign up now.
Let's talk about shooting from behind cover. Shooting from behind cover doesn't have to be hard, but you also have to understand what it takes. Most people shoot from behind cover, but they're not truly behind it. Well, if you look at the way this barricade's constructed, it's got this leg coming off of it. It comes off on the trailing edge. That keeps me honest. So if my barricade didn't have that ledge on it, I could take tape on a cement floor, or I could take a stick like this and I could just lay it along that trailing edge. What that does is it helps me to keep my feet within cover. A lot of people stand like this, they know they can't see the target, and then they come out and they shoot. Well, I was truly never behind cover in the first place. So from here, I have to actually lean out and find my target. Couple important things. Don't crowd cover, because the closer you are to cover, the harder it is to work around it. And if I'm going to expose myself from behind cover, they're going to be seeing a slice of my head and my eyeball, but it's going to be behind the sights. So my pistol's going to come out, I tuck my elbow in, I'm going to come out, I'm going to skim along that edge of cover, and from there, I can make my shot. So I know I'm behind cover, I'm here, I've got my elbow tucked in, I pick up my sights, I meet my trigger, I know I'm gonna shoot, and I could just lean out. There's another way I could do this too. I could cant back a little bit, and I could use this leg like an outrigger, and I could come out forward, and I could shoot from there. But this is kind of easy right now. That target's straight down range. It doesn't take much for me to just lean up. and make a shot. So next time you're shooting from behind cover, make sure you're using it properly. Make sure your feet are within that trailing edge of that cover so you're not exposing yourself. And I won't even go to weak side cover or support side cover because that's a whole nother topic for next time.
I'm with it.
First Person Defender brought to you by HK and T4E. Back at the local diner, Mike has his father and a buddy in tow. How does the stand your ground law come into play when someone is rifling through your car? Will Mike make the right decision to shoot if the opportunity presents itself?
Hey, there's some guy getting in the car over there. Hey, Dad, get over here, Dad.
What?
There's some guy getting in the car over there.
You seeing a guy? Huh?
Hey, step away from that car.
Man, what are you gonna do, shoot me?
I don't want to shoot nobody. Step
Why are
away
you
from
pointing a
the car.
gun at me?
Careful, Mikey.
Hey, somebody call the police.
Why are you pointing a gun at me?
Because my dad's over there, man. Don't move, buddy.
Man, I'll shove that gun up your
Stop moving.
I'll shove that gun up your ass.
Stop.
You ain't got a hair on
There
your
you are.
Ah!
Don't get up. Don't get up. I don't want to shoot you again, buddy. Don't move. Don't take a step. Better stay there. Don't move, buddy.
I'll kill you.
Call the police. You all right, Dad? Yeah, I'm good.
Index.
All right, so tell me what happened.
All right, I was in there eating dinner with my dad and his buddy. We came out here and I saw some guy going through the car. I tried to get Dad over here and Dad wasn't paying attention. He starts going over there. Guy starts back out of the car. I didn't know what he was doing, whether he had a weapon or not, so I pulled my gun and tried to stop him. He didn't listen. I was as patient as I could be. He started to get a little closer. I didn't know if he was armed. He might have had a knife. I shot him once, tried to give him as many chances as I could. He kept advancing.
So you shot him once, but he was determined. Then what happened?
Well, I was afraid he was going to get closer, and you shoot a guy once and he doesn't react, I'm not going to let him close the distance on him, so I shot him until he went down.
Well, as a bad guy, I can't always see everything that's going on. So let's get our trainer, Adam Winch, back in here and talk to him.
Sounds great. Love to hear it.
All right, so Adam's here, but one question I have for Adam, because he's not from down here in the South. Do you guys have stand your ground law?
Yeah, in Florida, we do.
All right, that's good, because we have that in Louisiana too. Adam, what did you think?
Well, first, shot placement was good. You did a good job putting it right here, and I'm betting you're going to feel it for a couple days. The other, he did articulate to you that he was going to take that gun from you and do bad things to you with it, which tells me, in a sense, he's going for the gun. That's a deadly situation. I can understand pulling the trigger on that. At the same time, you're a big, strong boy. He's a big, strong boy. And simply shooting a guy, though, is that far distant from you, there's still a railing between you and them, might be a sketchy thing in court to try to articulate that, right?
Actually, I'm handicapped. I've got bone on bone, and I had broke heel, so I actually have a handicap placard.
See, now
And
that articulation
can't go
right
to the
there,
ground very well.
that articulation right there helps change the dynamic. You know, or based on your perception of what you can do, you know what you can handle. At that case, I'd tell you now suddenly this becomes a more defensively articulable in the courts of law. So that makes a lot more sense, right? My initial concern, not knowing that, was he was simply coming at you. It's mano a mano. That would be hard to articulate. But you knowing that, now it becomes a lot more likelihood you could sustain serious bodily injury or death from this guy who's coming at you, who's already said he's going to take that gun and do bad things to you with it. So in that case, that's a more defensible thing, and then now that's more understandable for the court's law.
So when you initially pulled out your gun and pointed at the bad guy asked why you pointing a gun at him. What did you say?
I don't remember exactly. I said something like, you're going through the car, but the real concern was my dad was over there and I didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know if he was armed or not. And at that point, I felt my dad was in danger.
Based on your previous training and experience, the last time a guy was in your car,
Yeah,
he had a gun.
Getting shot.
Right. So that's good, and that's important to articulate also. You know, you were concerned about your father's safety, you tried to keep him out of harm's way, and the last time you experienced something like this, the bad guy had a gun.
Right.
So, and you didn't have cover. So in the absence of cover, sometimes the gun is the best you can do. So Adam, use of force, articulable facts. Talk to me.
So until he had articulated that he had, had disability, bone on bone, had a hard time moving and all, to me, at very first blush, this looked like two guys coming at each other where a gun just got introduced unneeded. Having done law enforcement for over a decade in the Colorado area, I would tell you that would have been, based on my first perception, the jury would have hung him on that. But as soon as he was able to articulate his medical infirmities, now that gave a lot more justification legally based on his own understanding of him medically. You would, as the bad guy, had articulated what you were going to do to him. It was very clear what you were going to do. He knew his abilities, and he knew that he needed to do that to avoid serious bodily injury or death. And now he took what I would consider to be reasonable action in the courts of law.
Well, and the biggest problem is the gun came out at all. But why did it come out?
He had to, right? In this case, he had his father, right? So more advanced in age, and the father's right there. He can't move nearly as quickly to get away or to fight as well. So now he's defending not just himself, he's having to defend another person.
Right.
And so that is a very understandable situation.
Right, in his previous experience, the bad guy that was rifling through his car came out with a gun and shot his friend. You know what? Based on training and experience, he drew a firearm to protect himself and his father, because he needs to be the one who's taking action, not reacting.
Yes.
The bad guy comes at him, says what he's going to do. He knows his physical abilities. He shoots him once. Dummy me. I figure it's not really good enough shot. Maybe I'm hopped up on some drugs, but I keep coming at him, and I made him shoot me some more. And that did muddy the waters for him.
Well, and that is also realistic, right? Your bad guy might be hopped up on rage, lust, drugs, alcohol, or just have sheer determination. They may even have taken a hit and not know they've been hit, or they decide they're going to fight through. So in this case, you as the bad guy decided, I'm going to fight through, and then ultimately he ended the fight that way.
Yeah, it was a bad choice on my part. Thanks for your insight.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.